Good morning and welcome to the free daily coaching call. Looking to say good morning and welcome to those that are here on the live webinar. Going to do a little play out for the welcome song and we will get started. Give me just a second here as we fire the computer back up. We've been out of the studio for a few days.
Good morning and welcome to the free daily coaching hangout. Your daily hangout for mindset, tech tips, and everything attraction marketing. We're here every morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Sit back or jump in. Either way, remember to have some fun. Here at freedailycoaching.com.
All right. All right. Good morning and welcome to the free daily coaching podcast and live webinar. If you're listening to the recording this morning, we're coming to you on Tuesday, June 23rd. You may have noticed a gap in the podcast, and that was because I was out of town, having had the opportunity to travel out to Las Vegas to the No Excuses Summit that's hosted by the Elite Marketing Pro Group was absolutely phenomenal. Now we're back in the studio, we're back in the office, we're here to do some work, and it's really exciting that we're actually home and going to be here at the office for a few weeks in a row before we head out again. Now, I want to let everyone know that we are going to do a special topic this morning, but just to keep everyone in the loop, how to get connected, how to stay connected with us, and be a part of what we're doing. Remember that if you're listening to this podcast, you can always join us and watch the recording of the podcast on the live webinar, the live hangout that we broadcast each morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can do that by visiting us over at www.freedailycoaching.com. If you visit us over at freedailycoaching.com, you'll see that there's a registration page where you can get registered. Now, let's go back and talk just a little bit about this time that we were out of the studio and out of the office for a few days over at a live event. I had the opportunity during this live event to meet quite a few people that I had been networking with online. I had an opportunity to meet some great people face-to-face for the very first time. Many of you know Chris Schaus from Schaus in the House Coaching. Chris and I have been working together for quite a while now, and I got to have the opportunity to meet Chris. I had the opportunity to meet Amber Lee, that a lot of you know that I work with in a bunch of different networking groups. Who else was there? Marquell Russell was there, and I had the first time to meet Marquell face to face for the very first time. And I had said it over the weekend, but live events are the place where I've met people for the first time. So many powerful people. And when you go to these live events and you can actually make that face-to-face connection for the first time, it changes the look of your business. It changes the feel of your business. If you're working in a home-based business, if you're working in an industry where maybe you haven't achieved the success that you're looking to achieve so far, you haven't achieved that, well, going to these live events and really being able to hook up with others that are achieving that success can really take your business to a whole new level. So wanted to just bring up a specific topic this morning, not a crazy long call this morning, but something that I wanted people to think about. And, I've thought about things like this, and I got to hear someone talk about it from stage. And when one of your mentors, when someone that is having amazing success says it out loud, it gives you a little bit more confidence to say, hey, you know what? I can talk about this. I could share this with you. I know this has been my experience, but sometimes that's still a little bit scary to share. And when I have the backing, when you see that someone else has said something similar, it makes it a lot easier. And so the reason that the webinar, if you're here live on the webinar, you can see that our title is A Tribute to Lisa Grossman, is because Lisa Grossman spoke about this weekend, and I wanted to talk about it as well. She talked about something about becoming great at something and really becoming, a master of something. And she talked about the statistic that probably you've heard as well, to say that if you want to master something, right, if you want to become amazing at something, you have to do it for like 10,000 hours, right? You have to have 10,000 hours of experience doing something to be a champion, to be a master of that skill set. And so what does that really mean? Well, what does that mean? That means that if you want to get great at something, that in the beginning, you're going to suck, right? You're not going to be good. And I want to say that again, because I think it's just regular, it's raw, it's real. When you start at something brand new, you're going to suck at it, right? Think about little kids that can't walk. They suck at walking. Like they could just barely crawl, right? They're not very good at walking, right? But over time, they get very proficient and, you can walk very well. When you begin your home-based business, when you start your marketing process, whether it's online or offline marketing, when you're starting to network with people, let's say, think of all these different skill sets. When you start calling people on the phone, when you start trying to sell something, when you start fill in the blank of any task that's required in your business, when you first start that activity, you're probably going to suck when you start. Everyone has to take that first step. Everyone has to start at the beginning, right? Now, I want to bring up something else that Lisa talked to, and that's why we're calling this a tribute to Lisa, because it's so powerful. Imagine if it takes you 10,000 hours to master something. That's a lot of hours. You're like, well, wow, that's going to take me a while to get somewhere. Well, what if I told you that to be proficient, just to have proficiency in a skill set, it wasn't anything near 10,000 hours? What if I told you it wasn't even 1,000 hours? What if I told you it wasn't even 10% of that? Would you be willing to spend some time to become proficient? You see, a lot of the people that are successful in industry, whether it's the home-based business industry, whether it's online marketing, whether it's corporate America, and you look at a guy like Steve Jobs or Richard Branson, when you look at business owners and you look at their activity and you look back in their careers, they weren't always a giant. They weren't always the mogul. They weren't always the master or the expert. In the beginning, they were the new guy. They were the new gal. They were the person that wasn't very good at those skill sets. So I want to talk about becoming proficient. Would you be willing to spend 20 hours to become proficient? Let me repeat that. Would you be willing to spend 20 hours to become proficient in a skill set? Would you be willing to spend 2 hours a day over the next 10 days to get really good at something? Would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to spend 4 hours over the next 5 days, just this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? Could you spend 4 hours a day to become proficient? You see, the 10,000 hours seems so daunting when you get started. It seems like such an overwhelming task that people don't ever even become proficient. The mental idea of the 10,000 seems so overwhelming that they never get to the 20 hours. They don't even take action for long enough to get to the 20 hours of proficiency. So are you willing to do 20 hours? Would you be willing to do 20 hours of copywriting to be able to become proficient? Not to become the best copywriter, not to become Dan Kennedy or Frank Kern overnight, but to be able to get a response. Would you be willing to practice for 2 hours a day over the next 10 days so that the following 10 days you could write copy and get the response, get more leads, make more sales, get more exposure? Would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to spend 2 hours a day making phone calls, calling leads? Would you be willing to do that? And if the answer is yes, if you'd be willing to do that, then it's time to make a decision. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to learn? What skill set would you like to become proficient at? And then mark off that time. Mark that time on your calendar, schedule it in, and actually take the time, invest those 20 hours in yourself, and become proficient at that marketing skill set. You know, those two things that I took away, and I took away a lot more from Lisa's talk this weekend, but those two things, the 20 hours to proficiency, instead of that daunting 10 hours, 10,000 hours to master something, 20 hours to proficiency, and the reality of knowing that you're going to suck when you start, that in the beginning, everything isn't going to be great. You're not going to be great when you start a brand new skill set. When you use an athlete, if you never ran before and you start running today and you run a mile, your mile isn't going to be the awesomest time. It's not going to be the fastest time, right? When you start, you're not going to be that fast, but you'll get faster over time. The more that you do it, the more that you run, the better shape that you get in. Think about that. People ask me all the time, you know, or make comments all the time. Well, that's easy for you, Bert, because you're great on the webinars. Well, that's okay for you, Bert, because you do calls all the time and you can speak. But that wasn't the case in the beginning. In the beginning, I wasn't great on the telephone. In the beginning, I sucked on webinars. In the beginning, I was afraid to make videos. After doing so many of them, I became proficient. I became okay. I became decent. I was able to get through the webinar. I was able to function through a video and create something. Over time, over years now, literally over years, and doing the same behavior every single day, I became better. So you're going to suck in the beginning, but can you get better? Absolutely. Can you step up your game? Absolutely. Would you be willing to put in 20 hours to become proficient? So we went out of town this weekend. We got to go to an amazing event, participate in the event, and took some great notes, grabbed some great nuggets from some other marketers that are having some amazing success. And we're going to bring those to you over this next few days, over the next few podcasts. That's what we're going to bring you. So each and every morning, I'm going to bring you a new tip of the day, a new marketing tip that comes directly from something that I picked up over at No Excuses. And the reason is because there's so many different ways to market. The message is this: is there multiple channels? Is there multiple ways to get to the end result? Absolutely there is. The question is, are you willing to take the actions that are required to get there? Would you be willing to spend 20 hours to become proficient enough to get results? I think that you would. I think that the 20 hours would be worth it for you if you're looking to change your life, if you're looking to build a home-based business, if you're looking to create the emotional freedom that you wanted, that time freedom that you've been longing for. If you want to have that financial freedom that you see that other people have, then I say that yes, you would be willing to spend 20 hours to become proficient, because you realize that in the beginning you're going to suck and that you have to get better over time. That's the reality. That's the real reality of building a home-based business. Now, are you going to become better at some things than others quicker? And are you going to see that happening with other people? Absolutely. Why? Well, you have different skill sets, and what you're proficient at and what I'm proficient at and what maybe a Craig Kassler or a Connie Bohager is proficient at is going to be something totally different than what a Minnie Riley's proficient at, or what Whitman Abel's proficient at, or what a Chris Schaus is proficient at. You see, 3 months ago, Chris Schaus wasn't proficient with Funnelizer, or 4 months ago, but she started using it. She started using it over and over and over and doing it on the regular, starting to build multiple different things out, spending hours to become proficient enough that she could cut videos and start telling other people and showing other people and sharing with other people how to use that tool, how to build and create custom sales funnels with the Funnelizer tool. So it's some things you're going to accelerate in quicker than others. Why? Because that's your business. That's the way that you're wired. That's how you function. So we took some lessons from Lisa today, and I want to thank Lisa again for sharing with us at the No Excuses Summit. I want to thank her for being such an incredible mentor. I want to thank each and every one of you that have decided to join us over on the live webinar or listening to us here on the www.freedailycoaching podcast, where we broadcast Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. That's 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We try to do every single Monday through Friday. Sometimes we take a break here and there when we're out of town. Remember that you can always go back and watch the live feed and the replay of the recording of the Free Daily Coaching Podcast over on my YouTube channel. You can visit us over on youtube.com/Bert Bledsoe to watch us at the Free Daily Coaching Hangout and Podcast. Thanks for listening this morning. We'll see you and talk to you the next time. Well, thanks for joining us here on the Free Daily Coaching Hangout. Really excited. We've got a big few weeks happening. I'm actually going to be home for about the next 3 or 4 weeks. And over those next 4 weeks, for those that were around not too long ago, we are doing our live webinar workshop exclusive, where we're actually creating the webinar workshop as well as the product, as well as the live training. So that will be happening. The Friends of Free Daily Coaching workshops are happening every single Wednesday still. So if you are a member, meaning that if you are using the paid service, the paid coaching service over at the Friends of Free Daily Coaching, then you're more than welcome, obviously, to come and join us each and every Wednesday. And also this week, I'm talking about some alternative marketing methods. I'm talking about some alternative marketing methods because going to live events really opens your minds and enables you to see how many different people are out there doing things and how many people are doing it in different ways. So also take a look at my emails that are coming out this week. I'm going to be promoting a few different things this week, as well as like always, the webinars that I'm attending and the marketing platform that I'm using. I'm also going to be promoting a few other things this week, so take a look at that. I'm going to be promoting some email marketing tools. I'm also going to be promoting some smaller affiliate products that you could be using in your business to take a step up. So if you have any questions or concerns, like always, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, text message, or any social media channel that you're using. And we'll see you the next time on the Free Daily Coaching webinar and Hangout. Talk to you later.